Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Kent City Council meeting for Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. If you could please all stand and join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Melissa, could you please call the roll?
Mayor Ralph.
Here.
Council President Kaur.
Here.
Councilmember Boyce.
Here.
Councilmember Boyd.
Here.
Councilmember Venture.
Here.
Councilmember Larmer. Here. Councilmember Michaud.
Here.
And Councilmember Troutner.
Here.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Item number 3 is approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
No changes from staff.
All right, seeing none, a motion would be in order to approve the agenda as published.
So move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries and the agenda stands as published. We're going to move right into public communications. We have several items this evening under public recognition. We'll start out with 2 proclamations. The first proclamation we have is for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And joining us this evening is Gina Finley from Dawn. Gina, if you want to come up to the front, I'm going to go ahead and read the proclamation. We will do a photo and then I'll ask you if you could give us a little bit of information. Okay? So the proclamation says, whereas National Domestic Violence Awareness Month was established in October 1987 to acknowledge and provide a voice for domestic violence victims and survivors, to advocate for legislation and protections for victims, to educate leaders and encourage public awareness and action against abuse. And whereas domestic violence is prevalent in every community and, on average, nearly 24 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner in the United States. And whereas domestic violence is a pattern of physical, emotional, verbal, and/or sexual abuse that affects millions, regardless of race, gender, religion, occupation, education level, socioeconomic status, or sexual orientation. And whereas the City of Kent remains committed to a professional response to incidents of domestic violence and strives to change belief systems and practices that support violence and abuse that disproportionately affects women and other marginalized people. And whereas becoming a place where all people embrace the spirit of nonviolence and where people develop healthy relationships based on mutual respect requires the participation and commitment of the entire community and amazing organizations like Dawn. Now, therefore, I, Dana Ralph, Mayor of Kent, do hereby proclaim October 2025 to be Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the City of Kent and encourage all residents to speak out against domestic violence, support the efforts of victim advocates and service organizations, honor the courage and resilience of survivors, and commit ourselves to standing with them for safety, dignity, and justice. I'm going to come down.
Right. Good evening, Mayor Ralph, council members, and community members. My name is Gina Finley, and I'm honored to be here on behalf of Dawn Domestic Abuse Women's Network. As many of you know, we have our shelter here in Kent, and we also have our advocacy center and admin center just down the road. We are so thankful for Kent's support that allows us to serve over 2,000 people a year. First, thank you for recognizing Domestic Violence Awareness Month and for taking this time to shine a light on an issue that is too often remains hidden behind closed doors. Every October, we come together to raise awareness, but for survivors, the need for safety, support, and healing continues long after this month ends. Each night, women, children, and families find refuge at Dawn at our shelter because of your ongoing support. Behind every number is a real person, a mother who can finally sleep without fear, a child who begins to laugh again, a survivor who takes their first step towards life free of violence. Your partnership truly changes lives, But awareness alone isn't enough. It takes consistent investment in funding, time, and compassion to ensure that Dawn can continue to answer every call for help every single day of the year. So on behalf of Dawn and the countless survivors who have found hope and safety through your support, thank you for standing with us. Together, we are building a community where safety, dignity, and hope are possible for everyone. We answer over 400 calls every month. We want to continue to be there for survivors. So, and I also want to thank the city and chief for participating in our Purple Light Nights. If you notice around the city, a number of businesses are shining the light, and you might find some silhouettes. I encourage you to do a QR code and learn about, those are actual clients from Dawn over the last year. So thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot.
Thank you.
Gina, thank you so much for the work that you do. The work that Dawn does. Several years ago, I was at an event that Dawn was sponsoring, and one of the speakers made a comment about the fact that you start out by helping victims and then you create survivors. And that was a really powerful statement to me, that the work that Dawn does is helping people be survivors. And they're coming out of this stronger the other side. And I just want to say thank you for that.
And thrivers.
And thrivers, absolutely. Thank you. All right, our next proclamation is for Diwali and Bande Chor Divas, and Council President Kaur is going to be accepting this proclamation. I'll go ahead and read it, and then we'll have everybody come up and.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Actually, it's going to be our Sikh community and our Hindu community here who's going to accept the proclamation. So if they all want to come up, and you can read the proclamation.
I'll read the proclamation. We'll do a photo and then ask for our speakers.
Don't be shy.
It's fantastic. It's perfect. Okay. Yep. I will go ahead and read the proclamation now. It says, whereas Diwali, also known as the Festival of Lights, is one of the most important and widely celebrated holidays among people of Hindu, Sikh, Jain, and Buddhist faiths around the world, symbolizing the victory of light over darkness, good over evil, and knowledge over ignorance. And whereas Bande Chor Divas, observed on the same day by the Sikh community, commemorates the release of Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji. Did I do okay? Okay. Along with 52 kings from unjust imprisonment, and powerful reminder of freedom, compassion, and justice. And whereas both Diwali and Bande Chor Divas share a universal message of hope, renewal, and triumph of good, inspiring people of all backgrounds to reflect on the values of kindness, service, and unity. And whereas the City of Kent is home to a vibrant and diverse South Asian community whose rich traditions, entrepreneurship, and community strengthen and enrich our city. And whereas during Diwali and Bande Chor Divas, families gather to light lamps, share meals, and spread joy, traditions that remind us of the importance of togetherness, gratitude, and the light that we each bring to our community. And whereas the City of Kent is proud to celebrate these meaningful festivals that promote peace, inclusivity, and understanding among all residents, now therefore I, Dana Ralph, Mayor of Kent, do hereby proclaim October 21st, 2025 as Diwali and Bande Chor Divas in the City of Kent, and encourage all residents to join in celebrating the light, freedom, and community spirit that these holidays represent. I just want to say that this top sentence again about symbolizing victory over light, victory of light over darkness, good over evil, and knowledge over ignorance. I think that's a really important statement and something that everyone should consider and embrace. So let's go down and take a picture. So I have two speakers.
Namaste all. And I have my Sikh brothers also over here. Sat Sri Akal ji. So, and good evening to everybody. So it's a great pleasure and honor to receive this proclamation for the third time in a row. So thank you, Mayor Dana. On behalf of Hindu American community, we accept and thank you, Mayor Dana, city councillors and city staff for processing and awarding the proclamation during this festive season of Navratri. This proclamation sends us impactful and meaningful message to the Hindu American community in city of Kent area and helps educate all Americans about our incredible traditions. Over the last few years, there has been a significant growth of Hindu Americans in the region, and we have been contributing to all aspects of public life to our vibrant and diverse social fabric. It means it would bring the residents immense pride and gratitude to know that the city recognizes the contributions of Hindu Americans here. I'm happy to share that the Hindu American community, in collaboration with various community organizations, is engaged in driving a service initiative called Seva Diwali, a food donation campaign during the festive season, and contribute back to the local food banks and the underserved in our neighborhoods. In 2024, during the Seva Diwali nationwide, we donated more than 700,000 pounds food to local food banks and shelters. Thank you again for the proclamation, and we look forward to continued engagement with City Council on various community service initiatives. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor Ralph and council members. I'll be speaking on behalf of the community today. So it's an honor to be here for this proclamation recognizing Diwali and Bandi Chhor Divas, two celebrations that share the message of light, freedom, and hope. Diwali reminds us of the light that triumphs over darkness, good over evil, and knowledge over ignorance. Bandi Chhor Divas, celebrated by the Sikhs, honors the day when Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji secured the release of 52 kings from imprisonment, a powerful reminder of compassion, justice, and standing up for others. Both holidays inspire us to bring light not just into our homes, but into our hearts and into our communities. And here in Kent, that spirit of unity shines through our diversity. We celebrate together, we support one another, and we continue building a community where everyone belongs. So thank you again for honoring this day and for recognizing the light of that's in each of us and bringing that here to Kent.
Thank you. Right. The next two items on our agenda is recognition of two new neighborhood councils. Joining us this evening is Tracy Taylor, who manages our neighborhood program, and we're going to be recognizing the Meridian Ridge, Hunter Oaks neighborhood, and the Parks neighborhood councils. Tracy.
Thank you, Mayor Ralph. I don't believe anybody from both neighborhoods were able to make it this evening.
Oh, look, we've got somebody
wait.
raising
Oh, there
their
you
hand.
are. Well, come on up. I was like, I got emails saying that some people weren't coming, so very cool. Well, I'm glad that you're here, so thank you. Oh, yay, you did make it. Well, I got emails saying that they weren't coming, but it surprised me. First and foremost, Mayor Ralph, our Recognized Neighborhood program continues to grow because the people of Kent care deeply about being a part of something bigger, something more than themselves. This program gives residents a way to connect with each other, build a partnership with the city and the staff, and really shape the place that they call home. The two neighborhoods we're recognizing tonight have shown tremendous initiative. They've organized meetings and gatherings, built real momentum around the collaboration and neighborhood pride. They're committed to making their neighborhoods connected, beautiful, and safe, and that's exactly the spirit this program was designed to do. So every time a new neighborhood joins, it strengthens our entire city network. It means more voices at the table, more ideas are being shared, and more neighbors are looking out for one another. I'm proud of the work that they've done so far, and I'm excited to see what's ahead for them in all of the Kent's recognized neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'd like to introduce from Hunter Oaks and the Parks. Come on up and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Robert Edgman. I'm with representing the Parks. If I could, just one moment. I might get a little choked up here. I grew up in the South, the Southeast. And when I was in 4th grade, grade schools were still segregated. We had the white grade school and we had the black grade school. And I remember January of my fourth grade year, they were going to close down the black grade school and integrate, finally. And I'm not that old, I'm 61. This was 1974. And our parents were all nervous. You know, what's going to happen? We didn't understand. We thought, man, this is great. We got more kids to play with. And, you know, when we came home, you know, the kids from Honey Green came, and our parents, how'd it go? How'd it go? And we were confused. And so I grew up seeing segregation. I grew up seeing the attempts at integration. Moved up here to Seattle and about 32 years ago, and I moved into the Parks in 2018. And here's the point I want to bring up. Probably the most diverse community I have ever been involved in. There is at least 5 of the major religions well represented in that community. We have Vietnamese Muslims, which are not that large. They're, you know, in their country they are oppressed, but we have that. We have people that are Sikhs, Indian. We have Muslims. We have people from Eastern Africa. We have people from all over Asia. And there is no tension. It's no big deal. There's no drama. If you didn't know, you wouldn't know. And it's neat to know that at 61, I've seen from segregation and concern if people of different beliefs and different ethnic backgrounds and different races mixed together to a point where it's no big deal. So thank you all for recognizing us.
Fantastic.
Do we want to do a picture?
Yes, please.
Absolutely. Council, you want to all stand up and do this together?
So Robert, being from the South, I can relate to your story. Very much so.
Get in.
Oh, sorry.
That's crazy. What are you? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
This summer, the Parks neighborhood hosted a Drinks in the Driveway event, and it was fantastic getting an opportunity to meet with the neighbors, and it's exactly what that neighborhood program represents. So again, I want to welcome the Meridian Ridge Hunter Oaks neighborhood and the Parks neighborhood to our neighborhood council program. Council Member Boyce, it wasn't that long ago that I think you issued a challenge, can we get to 50? And we are now 1 away from 60 neighborhoods.
About the talk, I want to raise that up. So we can talk later. Thank you.
All right. With that, we're going to move on to the next item on our agenda, which is community events. Council President.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have events happening at Acceso Showroom Center. So if you want to buy tickets, you can buy them on accessoshowroomcenter.com. On October 22 through 26, Disney on Ice is back, and it says Let's Dance is the theme this year. October 31st, Seattle T-Birds versus Saskatoon Blades. November 1st is Seattle T-Birds versus Prince George, and November 2nd is a concert by Jasmine Sandless. It's called the Gulabi World Tour. It's a Pink Queen, and it's a very powerful voice. So if you want to buy those tickets, again, Acceso Showroom Center. Thank you.
Hey, Councilmember Michaud.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have an event, Drug Take Back Day. That's an opportunity for you to dispose of any unwanted or expired medication. And that is on Saturday, October 25th from 10 to 2, and that's right here in front of City Hall. If it's raining, they will do it in the parking garage.
Okay, Councilmember Fincher.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On Friday night, you have the opportunity to see Uptown, a celebration of Motown and soul. Kentwood High School, it's part of the City Spotlight series. Great entertainment, great price, time to spend a great evening. You can get your tickets by going to the city website. The next day, Saturday, we have our paint only, nothing else, just paint only recycling. That's going to be over at Hogan Hogan at Russell Road Park. You can check out our website, kentwa.gov/talking trash to get more information on that. Along with November 3rd, there is going to be another event, and that's going to be the fall recycling event. You get to put out up to 10 extra containers of your trash or recycling to be picked up. They do it spring, they do it fall. It's not going to cost you anything extra. You put it out on your regular recycling day.
All right, the last couple of reminders. Friday night, Kent Downtown Partnership is hosting a spirit walk in the theme of Halloween. So think wine walk, but with distilleries. And then the next day is Street of Treats. So that's a family-friendly event, trick-or-treating on the 25th downtown Kent. On the 31st at Kent Station, we've got Haunted Boulevard, and it's a trunk-or-treat event there on Ramsey Way. Kids can come down and trick-or-treat in a safe, contained environment, and then you can go over and check out a Thunderbirds game after that. So there's a lot going on in the next couple of weeks. Hard to believe that we're at the end of October already. All right. The next item we have under public communications is our public safety report. And joining us this evening after a very long day is Chief Padilla.
All right. Good evening. Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Go ahead, gentlemen. It's that way. There we go. Perfect. Just like we rehearsed. All right. Well, tonight it's jail correction staff palooza. That's my entire report. Starting with the opportunity to introduce our newest corrections officers. Our jail has been in a bit of a transition with several retirements and personnel movements here recently, and these 5 gentlemen here bring us back to fully staffed at the jail again. So that's good news. I will introduce each of them one at a time, and then Mayor Ralph, I'll call upon you to do the honors, please. All right, first up, we've got Daniel Bartlett. There you go. Daniel grew up in Jackpot, Nevada, a small casino town in northern Nevada. He also lived in Reno and Twin Falls, Idaho. He moved to Puyallup in Washington in April of 2024. Before Kent, he worked in warehouse jobs, both in Idaho and here locally in Puyallup. And he chose Kent because of the sense of camaraderie and community felt here at the Kent PD from the day of his very first interview. Something notable he wrote about himself, he says, "I am a history buff. I can watch history documentaries all day and not get bored." He works out 5 days a week, and he's an avid college football fan. His favorite team is USC, so. At least it wasn't Oregon, right? He says he's into lifting weights, and one thing that he thought was it is a big accomplishment is he bench pressed 405 pounds. And he is also fluent in Spanish. Ladies and gentlemen, Corrections Officer Daniel Bartlett. Dan, you have a family friend you want to introduce?
I do. My wife, Angelina, my mother-in-law, Kathy Smith, my sister-in-law, Ashley, brother-in-law, Patrick, my 2 nieces, Brooke and Zoe, and my 2 daughters, Ellie and Reagan.
Excellent. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Next up, we have Harman Grewal. Get set forth. There we go. He was born in Punjab, India, and he practices the Sikh religion. He has an associate's degree in accounting from Green River Community College. Before Kent, he was a security officer for 2.5 years with Seattle's Finest. They do security protection up for a lot of the stadiums and things up in Seattle and other facilities. Why he chose Kent is he loved the diversity here, and he said that KPD felt like family to him. He is also wanting to take advantage of our CO to PO program, so Corrections Officer to Police Officer program, eventually becoming a police officer with Kent. Something notable or interesting about himself, he wrote that he also likes to work out 6 times. He did one better. He's 6 days a week, and he likes hiking in the summertime. Ladies and gentlemen, Corrections Officer Harman Grewal. Harman, did you have family you want to introduce?
My uncle, Grandma, my mom, Sukhwinder.
Right on. Welcome. Thank you for being here. All right. Next up, we have Corrections Officer Austin May. He was born and raised in Washington. Holds a Bachelor's of Arts in Criminal Justice from the University of Washington, Tacoma, which he earned in 2016. Before Kent, he worked as a project, facilities, and event coordinator. And he chose Kent because he wanted to start his career in law enforcement and serve the community that he's already a part of. Something notable and interesting about himself is that in his spare time, he enjoys physical activity. He didn't say working out 7 days a week. And time with his family. And he enjoys traveling internationally and exploring different cultures around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Corrections Officer Austin May. Austin, anyone you want to introduce tonight?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I have my uncle, Brett, my mom, Adi, sister Layla, brother Justin, and sister-in-law Danielle.
Right on. Welcome. Welcome. Next up, we have Corrections Officer, I'll get this right, Sharafuddin Masad. Close? Somewhat? Okay. I can't see him. So he was born in Morocco, and he's one of 4 children. He's the youngest, and his sisters are all older than him. Before Kent, he worked at the Fred Meyer as a courtesy clerk, and then he was later hired on as a merchandiser with PepsiCo, eventually moving up and becoming a full-service truck driver with the company. Reasons for choosing Kent, he noted that he chose Kent because he wants to help people and serve his community. He was also drawn to KPD because of the people in the department. He felt welcome since day one, and he feels like everyone works together as a family here, which makes it a great department to be a part of. Something notable about him is that for his hobbies, he loves to play soccer. He's another gym rat, goes to the gym and snowboarding. A fun fact about him is that he, in addition to English, he speaks 4 additional languages: Arabic, French, Spanish, and Moroccan. Ladies and gentlemen, Corrections Officer Sharafuddin Masad. Did you have anybody you wanted to introduce?
Yes, sir. My wife Cynthia and my son Adam.
Excellent. Welcome. Welcome. All right. Next up, we have Corrections Officer Marquis Santos. He grew up in Tacoma, and where he lived for most of his life until moving to Spanaway. He has an associate's degree in criminal justice, and before joining Kent, he was a closing manager for Fred Meyers. He has also worked as in production at the Michelin company, building airplane wheels for Boeing. Reason for choosing Kent is he has the culture that he enjoys here of the city and the department was attractive to him. And then something notable is he rebuilds engines for cars, motorcycles in his spare time. Ladies and gentlemen, Corrections Officer Marquis Santos. Marquis, anybody want to introduce? Tonight? Okay, welcome, thank you. Mayor Ralph, will you do the honors, please?
Gentlemen, if you could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Stanford Bartlett,
Do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear
That I will bear true faith and allegiance.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
To the United States of America.
to the United States of America,
The state of Washington.
the state of Washington,
And the city of Kent.
and the city of Kent,
That I will uphold the Constitution and laws.
that I will uphold the Constitution and laws
Of the United States.
of the United States
And the state of Washington.
and the state of Washington,
And that I will obey the rules and regulations.
and I will obey the rules and regulations
Of the Kent Police Department.
of the Kent Police Department.
Congratulations. I will sign these, and then you have to find one that has your name on it so that you sign the right one. Chief will sign, and then we'll come back.
Congratulations. Good job. Welcome. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. I'll finish up. You say hi to your family, okay? Yeah, thank you.
All right, Councilmember Boyce.
Hey, first of all, Chief, I wanted to say thank you for all the hard work you do. You know, one thing we talk about is making sure we have diversity that kind of represent our city. And to me, that is a fine example of bringing the best and the brightest and diversity that represent our city. So really kudos to you and your recruiting team for doing all the hard work. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, super proud of that. I was going to make a little remark
Still
about it.
can. He still can.
Maybe there's a question of whether we hire diversity. I think we do. It's pretty consistent now. Yeah, something that's it's definitely something that we live, right? Not just we talk about anymore. So thank you for that. Moving on with more good news for the jail. I am pleased to announce that the City of Kent Corrections Facilities achieved accreditation from the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs, WASPIC, once again. I think this is three perfect cycles of where they've been inspected. There's over 170 standards that we get inspected on by a peer group of experts in the state, and clean slate. No deficiencies, no gigs. Our jail, I've always felt, I'm biased, but I always felt that we run an exceptional jail. And we have confirmation by experts that they are an exceptional jail. And I do want to give a lot of praise to Commander Armstrong, who's in the back of the room there, and Sergeant Rick Armstrong, who's not here. This process is something that is an assignment in addition to all their other duties, but they have to live it on an ongoing basis. A lot of the proofs that we have to demonstrate compliance with are things that we have to do monthly, weekly, annually. And if we miss, we simply don't get accredited. So it would have also been really embarrassing because I'm the chair of the accreditation committee for the state. So if we didn't get accredited, there's a little pressure there. That would have been embarrassing, but I had no fear. We have a great team. On a related note, we are one of, I think, 3, maybe 4 organizations in the whole state that are both police department accredited and jail accredited, right? And our jail was one of the pioneering organizations that was first to get accreditation way back ago. So long legacy of excellence there. It means a lot to our community. I think it means a lot towards ensuring trust that when our people are in our care, we take care of them, we treat them humanely, and we try to help restore them to get back out in the community. So very proud of that accomplishment there. And Madam Mayor, that completes my report.
All right, thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief? All right, thank you so much. And again, welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for choosing Kent.
All right, thank you.
All right, we are going to move on to reports. One of the things that I think makes this council unique among their peer councils around the region is the level of involvement that they have at the regional and state level. So if Kent is not at the table for policy conversations, funding conversations, we're missing out. We're not doing our job of representing the voice of our residents. And every single one of these council members that you see before you take the extra step of being involved in those regional boards and commissions, statewide boards and commissions. And for that, I am very grateful. We're gonna hear reports from them all. I am going to start out with a little bit of a different report this evening and talk to council a little bit and the community about an action that I took today. So council, earlier at Committee of the Whole, you passed an ordinance out that would prevent restrictive covenants from going on to properties, and that will be on consent calendar. We do have a particular property, and I believe you talked about it in Committee of the Whole in Kent, that was the former Albertson site. When Albertsons and Safeway merged, they shut down the Albertsons, kept the Safeway. Councilmember Larmer, you asked that question, and it had a lot to do with the competition between those those two stores in their proximity. So there is a restricted covenant on that property. It was filed by the owners, the Albertsons Company, through the county, and it is on that title at this point that prevents a grocery use from going into that location. The ordinance that you'll be voting on the consent calendar will prevent that from happening going forward. Today, I filed a consumer complaint with the Attorney General's office regarding the covenant on that current location. I am going to, it's a little bit lengthy, but I think it's important for people to hear the reasoning that we placed in this complaint. And then I am going to ask council members, if you would like to, community members, if you would like to, it is very easy to file a complaint to highlight this to the Attorney General. So I'm going to go ahead and read. It's a couple paragraphs, and I apologize for the length, but I think it's really important for everyone to hear that rationale. So it says, according to King County's 2023 Food Insecurity Report, community members in South King County are at least twice as likely to experience food insecurity than others in the county. According to demographic data from Communities Count, 15.9% of Kent residents experience food insecurity compared to an average of 9.5% in King County. In 2012, an Albertsons located at 20600 108th Avenue Southeast closed. In 2015, a subsidiary of Albertsons recorded a use restriction on the property and 6 surrounding properties. The restriction states that none of the parcels may be used or occupied for general food market, supermarket, grocery store, meat market, fish market, fruit store, vegetable store, convenience store, or any combination of the foregoing. The restriction runs with the land and has an ambiguous end date, which is dependent on Albertsons having not operated at least one grocery store or supermarket and or fuel center within a radius of 5 miles of the parcel measured as the crow flies. What this means on the ground for most of Kent's East Hill residents is that a grocery store has not been able to open in that location since 2012. The restriction covers 480,000 square feet in the city, nearly a dozen acres of appropriately zoned commercial land that is served by arterial roads, ideal for grocers or supermarkets, and not able to be feasibly duplicated within the neighborhood. But for over 10 years, businesses both large and small, corporate and family-owned, have been unable to provide healthy, fresh food to Kent's East Hill. These restrictions and burdens on the property amount to restrictions and burdens on the community, and the problem continues to get worse. On October 17, 2025, Fred Meyer on Kent's East Hill closed another grocery store less than 2.5 miles away from this restricted property. The restricted covenants recorded by Albertsons leave Safeway, located at 20830 108th Avenue South, as the primary and closest grocery store for East Hill residents. That store serves 19,939 residents, or 22.4% of East Hill residents. 2/3 of that population have a median income at or below King County's median income, and 7.6% is below the poverty level, with some census blocks groups containing poverty levels above 30%. The closure of Fred Meyer means that this population will soon increase. The city is concerned that the restrictive covenant recorded by Albertsons amounts to an unlawful restraint of trade or commerce in violation of RCW 19.86, creating a food desert in a largely low-income neighborhood. So I filed that complaint with the Attorney General today. Like I said, I would ask council to consider doing the same, and please ask your networks. We're hoping that community members and organizations will also file a complaint with the Attorney General requesting that they look at this restriction. It's very, very important for that neighborhood. So you all took the action this evening to pass the ordinance, making sure it doesn't happen going forward, and it feels like this is a piece of that puzzle, and we need to get those restrictions moved for the sake of the neighborhood. So, a little bit different report, but I felt like it was really important to talk about this evening. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Pat Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to defer to the report that is in the council packet tonight. Thank you.
Council President.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will also be deferring mostly my report to the council newsletter that comes out tomorrow evening. I do want to point out that I did have federal policy committee meeting, and we have been trying to figure out our our policy statement on the wording of it with the current administration. And so we'll have another meeting next month, and we'll be continuing on that conversation. I do serve on 5 other regional committees. We have not met since the last meeting, so I'll have that update as soon as we meet on those. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started with Councilmember Troutner.
Thank you, Madam President. I am chair of the Puget Sound Regional Fire Authority Governance Board, and we met last Wednesday. If you know anyone that lives in the Covington area that is part of Fire District 37, we have a vacant seat for the commissioners, and we are looking to fill that by the end of November. So anyone interested, have them contact me, and I'm happy to share information on what that means. I also sit on the Regional Transit Committee, and we had a presentation on the Strategic Plan Performance Dashboard. There will be a link to that in the council newsletter if you want to check that out and navigate through what those goals are. It's pretty cool to use and easy to use. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Troutner. Councilmember Michaud.
Thank you, Madam President. We had a Green Kent event, Orca Recovery Day at Riverview Park this past Saturday, and Madam Mayor was there as well, and that is co-hosted with our conservation partner, Green River Coalition, so big thanks to them. It's more than just a volunteer event where you plant and pull weeds. There's also a big educational component to it as well, so it makes it a little more interesting. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, the Senior Center hosted its 13th annual Wellness and Resource Fair. There were more than 250 participants, and seniors could get all sorts of resources as well as flu and COVID shots, and then also they could purchase a lunch. And Council President Kaur was also there with me. And the rest of my report is in the council newsletter.
Thank you, Councilmember Michaud. Councilmember Larmer.
Thank you, Council President. I serve on the King County Aging and Disabilities Advisory Council, and we did not have a meeting in October, so we will meet again the second Friday in November, and I will have a report following that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Larmer. Councilmember Boyce.
Thank you, Madam President. I sit on the Pitt Public Issue Committee, which is part of Sound City Association. So we did have a meeting last Wednesday, and we did vote on the public defense caseload, and which is Pat and Tamara had a lot of input into that. So. And they pretty much adopt pretty much what we wanted. You know, Pat sent me some stuff at the last minute that they was able to strike out, and everybody agreed upon that. So we are moving forward. So thank you both for your input as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Boyce. Councilmember Boyd.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I sit on the Local Hazardous Waste Management Program, representing Sound Cities Associate as a manager committee coordinator. We talked about 2 things this morning. One was we want people to know that our waste mobile collection van is not a van. It's a fixed center, and we have actually 5 centers that we're utilizing as of today. One is in Auburn, one is in North Seattle, one is in South Seattle, and one is at SCRTS. That's South County Recycling and Transfer Station. And the second item we talked about was we're looking at collection service and facilities needs. We did a survey and we're doing a study right now. We're in the draft stages. So at this point, I'm not allowed to or able to give you the what we talked about, the input and everything that we came up with. By November the 4th, we should have a full copy ready for print and ready for it to be delivered to the media. And hopefully our next meeting, I'll be able to discuss more in depth. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilmember Boyd. Councilmember Fincher.
Thank you. My report, everything is in my report. As a teaser, I will say that 76th Avenue Southeast, or 76th Avenue South, that has been closed for quite a while, with some improvements being made, should be open next week. So everything else is in the council report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Fincher. With that, Madam Mayor, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Council President. Next item on the agenda is public hearing. We do have 2 public hearings this evening. We have 3 public hearings this evening, so we will go ahead and go through the process. We will now hold the second public hearing on the 2026 mid-biennium budget adjustments, including the identified priorities for use of opioid settlement funds and the 2026 through 2031 capital improvement plan. So the way that the public hearing works is staff will give a presentation, then I'll invite the public up to provide testimony, written statements, and other evidence. Public input must relate to the subject of the public hearing. Council members, as you know, you may ask questions during the hearing. If you are here to testify on this matter or present written statements, the sign-up sheet is up at the front with the city clerk. With that, we will go ahead and open the second public hearing on 2026 mid-biennium budget adjustment, including identified priorities for the use of opioid settlement funds and the 2026 through 2031 capital improvement plan. The public hearing is now open. I would like to invite Paula Painter, our finance director, to make the presentation.
Great, thank you so much, Mayor Ralph, Council President Corr, members of City Council. So I am here to present the second public hearing on the 2026 mid-biennium budget adjustment, as well as to talk about the identified priorities for the use of the opioid settlement funds and the 2026 to 31 capital improvement plan. The council originally passed the budget for the 2025-26 biennium back in December of 2024. The 2026 mid-biennium budget adjustment was presented to council back on October 7th, and then we had a follow-up meeting earlier today to go over all the questions that were asked, which weren't all that many, which was great. Now, when we start looking at this budget, the total budget for 2026 is $442.6 million, of which $132.1 million is in the general fund. That is, the overall budget is an increase of just shy of $11 million, or 2.5% over the adopted budget. When we put the budget together, we did use some assumptions when we're looking at some of our expenditures. For salary increases, we looked at a 2.5% with exception to the police union, which has, their contracts have been negotiated, so that's at 2.7%. The other two union contracts are under negotiations. We did not make any increases to our self-insured health care premiums. We did see a reduction in our public employee retirement system contributions from the employer side, going from 9.11% down to 5.58%. And then we did see some reductions to our insurance allocations that were applied to the 2026 mid-biennium budget adjustment. When we went into this mid-biennium budget adjustment, we went in with the foundation that this would be a status quo budget, with the exception of adjusting our revenues and expenditures to match our current trends or any known information that was not known at the time that the budget was originally established. This budget does include the addition of 16 full-time positions, 11 of which relate to the new sales tax that went into place that could support criminal justice. In addition to that, there is one temporary full-time position that was added for 2 years for the IT department. That person is currently working under a contract on a project, and so we're going to bring that person on board. Excuse me. And then finally, there are 4 positions in our Parks Department. Excuse me. 3 of them relate to our facilities fund, because when we built the Kent East Hill Operations Center, that's new, a new building that's going to need to be maintained, and so there are some positions related to that, 2 custodians and a maintenance worker, and then 1 maintenance worker for the golf course. Then there is also $840,000 that is funding for the Russell Road Shops Improvement Project. This budget also includes $60,000 for the lunch program at the senior center, as well as an emergency equipment replacement fund for $250,000. We talked momentarily about the 11 positions from the criminal justice sales tax. That would generate about $3.65 million in sales tax to cover the costs of the criminal justice expenditures. In addition, we would be doing some one-time use of our opioid funding, which includes a narcotics detection canine, a narcotics detection identification device, and a whole body security scan system. So talking about the opioid settlement funds, those one-time dollars for those items cost $238,000 altogether. You're going to see we are projecting revenues of $142,000. Our expenditures do exceed that, but we did begin 2025 with over $736,000 in our beginning fund balance. The best use for fund balance is to actually use it for one-time expenses, in which that $238,000 would be a great use of that. The 2026 to 31 capital improvement plan is required as part of the Growth Management Act, which was passed in 1990. To meet this requirement, we create a 6-year plan. This plan includes projects that will help ensure that our facilities are able to maintain the levels of services that we currently have. The plan also includes recommended financing sources to pay for those projects. The capital improvement plan is adopted by ordinance and updates the city's comprehensive plan, and only the first year is included in the 2026 biennial budget. So with the overall $237 million 6-year capital improvement plan, only $40 million of that would be included in the mid-biennium budget adjustment. At this time, I am happy to answer any questions, and otherwise it ends my hearing.
Okay. Thank you, Paula. Council, any questions? All right. At this point, we'll go ahead and ask if there's anyone signed up for public comment.
We have no public comment.
All right. Any written statements?
No written statements.
All right. Thank you. With that, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So move.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The public hearing is now closed. All right, we will move on to the second public hearing of the evening, and this is a public hearing on the 2025 tax levy for the 2026 budget. Same format. Paula will provide a presentation. Council, you may ask questions during that presentation. We will then find out if there's anyone signed up for comment, and then move to close the public hearing. So with that, the public hearing on the 2025 tax levy for the 2026 budget is now open. Paula.
All right, thank you very much. So as we start this public hearing, I do want to let you know the 2026 numbers that we're using right now are estimates. We've been working with King County, and those estimates should be finalized next month. But overall, you're going to see that the estimated assessed valuation is $36.5 billion for all of the property within the city of Kent. That is showing about a 5% increase over the assessed value from last year at $34.8 billion. In 2025, with the median home value, a person would be paying $617 towards the City of Kent's property tax. Because the value of the properties are going up at a faster rate than the 1% cap that we have on property tax receipts, we're seeing a trend in that the general levy rate continues to go down. In fact, it's estimated to be below $1 for every 1,000 assessed valuation. This means that in 2026, it's estimated that the property owner would pay $609 to the City of Kent for the median home value within the City of Kent. One of the things that we really need to keep in mind is that you're saying, oh man, my tax bill is a lot more than $609. Well, overall, Kent receives 11% of the property taxes that you pay. And as you can see, based on this chart, there are all of these other entities that do receive the remaining 89% of the property taxes that you pay. At this point, this ends my presentation.
All right. I always think this is a really important chart for our residents to see, that about $600 on an average home is what goes to support City of Kent services, and that well over 50% of their property taxes are voter approved. So they are things that have gone to the ballot and voters in the county have said yes to. So, Council, any questions for Paula? All right. Do we have anyone signed up for comment?
No public comment and no statements received.
All right. Thank you. With that, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The public hearing is now closed. We are going to move on to our final public hearing this evening. We will now hold the public hearing on the Comprehensive Plan Amendment, updating Appendices I through N to reflect the 2026 through 2031 Kent Capital Improvement Plan, Kent, Highline, Renton, and Federal Way School District Capital Facilities Plan, and the Puget Sound Regional Fire Authority's Capital Facilities Plan. As with the other public hearings, we will have a presentation. Council, you may ask questions, and then we will call for public comment. With that, we're going to go ahead and open the public hearing on the Comprehensive Plan Amendment, and I would like to call on Deja Mitchell to provide that presentation.
Hello everyone, I'm Deja Mitchell, long-range planner at the City of Kent. I actually don't have a presentation, more so just some talking points here. So I'm here to present an amendment to the comprehensive plan to update the capital facilities element within said plan. This amendment to the capital facilities element of the comprehensive plan is an annual process, as I'm sure you all know. We're required by state law to update the comprehensive plan annually to reflect new 6-year financing plans. These plans include the City of Kent Capital Improvement Program, the Capital Facilities and Equipment Plan of the Puget Sound Regional Fire Authority, inclusive of their 6-year financing plan, and the Capital Facilities Plan for each school district that serves the City of Kent. That is Kent School District, Federal Way School District, Highline School District, and Renton School District. As a part of their facilities or capital facilities plan, school districts take into account current and future enrollment to inform next year's school impact fees. So based on the enrollment calculations, next year's impact fees for all the schools mentioned that serve the City of Kent will remain at $0 per unit for both single family and multifamily. In addition to, Puget Sound Regional Fire Authority is changing their land use categories as well as corresponding fees. So tonight's hearing is only for updating the comprehensive plan to include these 6-year financing plans. And on November 4th, 2025, Council, where you all will have the opportunity to review and vote on the impact fee ordinance, which will incorporate the impact fees into the City of Kent's code. The impact fee ordinance does not require a hearing. And that is all I have for you all today.
Thank you. Council, any questions for Deja? All right. Do we have anyone signed up for comment?
No public comment and no.
All right. Thank you. So with that, a motion would be in order to close the public hearing.
So move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The public hearing is now closed. All right, we are going to move on to public comment. Public comment period is the opportunity to speak to the council or the mayor on issues that relate to the City of Kent or agenda items council will consider. This is not an open public forum, and comments that do not relate to the business of the city are not permitted. Additionally, the state of Washington strictly prohibits people from using this public comment opportunity for political campaign purposes, including to support or oppose a ballot measure or any candidate for public office. Speakers may not give political campaign speeches, but must instead speak to issues concerning matters that the City Council would consider or matters of general business to the City of Kent. Further, in providing public comment, speakers must address the mayor and council as a whole, and remarks intended to target an individual on the dais are not permitted. Finally, please note that this public comment opportunity is for you to provide information to the mayor and the City Council that you would like for us to consider, but we will not be able to answer questions during the meeting itself. Can you please call our speakers?
We have 2 speakers. The first is Libby Tortelliot. Oh.
So if you come up to the podium, and if you could state your name and city of residence for the record, there will be a 3-minute timer that will appear on the screen so you can track your time.
My name is Libby Turtolo. I live in Kent. Sorry, I have it written down.
It's just fine.
I'm very nervous. Okay. And I don't mean to be mean, so I apologize in advance. I don't. I've lived in Kent for my entire life, and since COVID, I felt like things have gone downhill. I feel like everything has been negative. I'm a progressive Democratic voter and feel very disappointed in our failed leadership of our city council. I'm a rape survivor, and I'm afraid to leave my house at night because of the crime. I know that if anything were to happen to me and I were to call the police, it would take a long time for them to show up because they're so understaffed. My friend works in the Kent Police, and she told me that we are going to have even more officers quit next year. Kent Police have the highest turnover rate. You guys, I feel like, won't acknowledge that the crime is the problem because you want to make yourselves look good and say you're doing a good job. But I'm feeling like it's manipulation, and the numbers say that you don't know what you're talking about because crime is not decreasing. That's because no one calls the cops anymore, because we can't do anything. We just continue to suffer and live in misery while you guys gaslight us and tell us everything is fine. It's not, and I feel like I'm just not being listened to. I tried to call our city council president, and she didn't pick up or get back to me. I feel like
I need the comments to not be directed at any individual council member, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry. I just feel like my voice is not being heard. I've lived here my whole life, and I have tons of friends here that feel the same way. I just feel like everybody is constantly endorsing each other and no one takes a stand, and this is not how change is made. This is not how we get things done. And please, I beg you, please, start speaking for the community because we are fed up. Stop protecting your own people and inflating your own egos because our community is suffering. Disagreements are bad, and disagreements are not bad. They're how we come to compromise and make change. I'm a huge fan of former President Obama because he inspired change when I grew up, and that's what I want for our country, and that's what I want for Kent.
Thank you. All right, next speaker, please.
Logan Evans.
Hi, it's been a while. I wasn't thinking of speaking originally, but I think this proposal to do the rezoning of that, God, what is it? Sorry.
Logan, I'm going to interrupt really quick. State your name and city of residence for the record.
You know, you're right. I should do all the proper things. Yeah, Logan Evans. I live in Kent. And yeah, I think the rezoning of the Albertsons area is a great idea. I think one thing that has to be remembered is there's a reason these stores shut down, right? Over the last 30 years, Kent became a place for apartment housing, and apartments tended to, in Kent specifically, apartments meant welfare-dependent family populations, which meant higher rates of crime, which meant people who felt basically entitled to rob stores. And then I know King County passed that whole law that made it basically legal to steal things up to like, what, $1,000 or something around that number. So if we do bring back this area and allow shops to be built there, which is a great idea. Again, it'd be nice, one, to connect it to actual housing development for like families, again, European-style condominiums. I keep pushing that one. But the other one is making sure that we have police that feel totally empowered, right? Totally empowered to stop crime. That no local resident feels like they can walk into whatever new store we make there and then just steal things, right? Because that's where those stores shut down. Like, we always leave it out, and we do a lot of pity things. Oh, food deserts, and they're real, but they're also real because there are people who destroy industry, right? Destroy businesses and make a place unlivable. So, I don't know. As long as at the city level we can find a way to make sure when the county passes a law to like enable crime that we can ignore that or just tell them to screw off and we're going to do it, you know, our own way and allow the police to arrest people. I mean, whatever it is, right? Just consider those things when we do it, because otherwise it's just going to be the same cycle, right? And then who's to say 10 years from now, right? Maybe things get better now. They get better over the next year, the next 2 years. Maybe we have 6 years of peace, 10 years of peace and prosperity. And then the next government comes in, and then they say crime is legal, right? Crime is legal, let them go, rob every store. And what do we do to prepare for that moment? So as long as we have systems and a population that's been selected that is not prone to criminality, and we have rules that allow us to, at the local level, prevent that resurgence of crime, then it's totally worth redeveloping. That would just be the long-term plan, right? Because otherwise it's just going to happen again. Anyhow, thank you guys. That's really cool, and I hope it comes back.
Thank you.
We have no other speakers.
All right, so that brings us to the end of public comment. The next item on the agenda is the consent calendar. It's a compilation of items that the council has considered both at workshop and committee of the whole. These items have been voted out of committee of the whole without controversy. This evening, we have a consent calendar items A through M. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Item number 10 is other business. We do not have any this evening, nor do we have any bids or an executive session. So that brings us down to the bottom of the agenda. I want to thank you, everyone, for attending, council for participating. And with that, we are adjourned.